What's up, everybody? King of Fomo here, coming at you with your daily crypto update. We're going to do another Pulsechain live stream today, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to talk about kind of what is the next big catalyst event for Pulsechain. So we're sort of having some consolidation of the price, and pretty much exactly what I predicted is happening, right? I told you guys to be aware of when the bridge fills up. Let me go ahead and reload this page, see if it show you guys. So I said, be aware when this bridge loads up, and sort of make your positions around then. So once it got to about 95%, I started moving my funds around to prepare for just some general movement, right? There is really three things that can happen once we filled up in the bridge. Number one is, well, all the funds have been put on the Pulsechain already, so there's no buy pressure anymore. Therefore, the price will start not going up, but not going down either, and sort of stagnating and moving sideways. That's option one. Option two is the bridge is closed, and then you're going to have lots and lots of trading, lots of people getting into Pulse even more. The price will continue to pump more. That was sort of unlikely in my opinion, because you don't have more funds coming into the whole chain ecosystem. But that is an option that people were thinking about in terms of the price of Pulse, Pulsex, and Incentive, and Hex moving up after this bridge closes and the hype continuing on. And then of course the third option is things start to dump. Once this bridge is filled out, a lot of people might have the same thought process, the same expectations of, oh, well, there's no new money coming in, let me just take my 2x profits and leave Pulse Chain and go for greener pastures, or just wait and see what happens in the future. So right now we're like, this is the most exciting, interesting moment for Pulsechain. This is the make it or break it moment for Pulsechain. This is the moment where we see, is this just going to be a weekly fad, a fad of the week, or is this going to be a chain that sticks around for the long term? We're going to find out the answers to all of those questions within the next, I'd say, month or so. So there's a lot of things to expect. Honestly, the psychology of people, it's really hard to predict what people are going to do. So taking a look at the prices right here, a lot of what we're seeing here is, it lines up with what I was expecting to. Right now, the Pulse token is down about 6%. This is where I made my position movement before, so I'm pretty much break even at this moment. If it goes down even lower, since I did load back up on Pulse, then I start to lose my gains. I'm not in DAI anymore. But we'll see. This is kind of like, this was the low of yesterday as well, right? This is the moment that Pulse stopped dumping. So if it dumps below this, then we could see some sad people in the near future. Pulsex is currently down 20%. That's actually a lot higher than I thought. Pulsex is down quite a bit. A lot of people were expecting Pulsex to do extremely well. Personally, I am more of on the Team Pulse main, as opposed to all this other stuff. But as you can see here, this is the chart right here. Pulse X taking a big dump. Pulse is also taking a big dump too. You can kind of arrange it right here to see exactly how much of a dump is this. I like to go to Dex Tools and then type in about $10,000, because those are the amounts that like actually really move the price. Anything below $10,000 doesn't really move the needle that much. But we can see some pretty massive sells. I want to show you guys the Pulse chart in a second, but yeah, some pretty massive sells, anywhere about $20,000 in the past 10 minutes, multiple $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 sells for Pulse X. Now Pulse is even more interesting. This one had a turbo dump, but this is where it helps to really look at charts to see what the overall sentiment of things is for Pulse. So looking here, we have another turbo dump right here in the past kind of hour or so. But again, I like to look and see the total USD. This price chart is not what I want. I want to look at the USD price chart. So let's go to Pulse DAI right here. And we want to see how much. I'm going to put 10,000 DAI, right? And you can kind of see where things are going from right here. So the massive sell pressures that you're seeing is coming from just a couple people right here. So this was, maybe 7-8 minutes ago, $320,000 sell right there. $230,000 sell about maybe 20 minutes ago. We go a little bit lower. $225,000 buy, so that kind of evened it out. But you can see that there's some pretty massive chunky sells happening right now from just a couple of people. So in my opinion, that's not a bad thing, right? People are going to take profits at 2x. I mean, you you shouldn't really expect things to continue this massive uptrend for eternity. Eventually, people will take profits. The smart money is going to sell out, wait for a little bit longer, and buy back in at a lower price. Now, personally, if I was a big time whale, I probably wouldn't have sold at this point. I probably would have waited a little bit because I think that right now, 2x sacrifice, I really do think that Pulse can go a lot higher than 2x. I think 2x is just sort of expected with the way the market has moved since the Pulse chain sacrifice was active. I think that we really haven't seen any movement in Pulse chain in general. And I think that there's a lot of catalysts, which we'll talk about in a second. It's the title of the video. What is the next big movement moment for Pulse chain? I think there's a lot of that stuff coming soon here too. Incentive token is down quite a bit. Hex is down quite a bit. Pulse X is down quite a bit. Pulse is the kind of reigning champion right now, only down about 6%. But again, that was down a lot 24 hours ago too. So it's really still down quite a bit. So let's see. Let's take a look at the chat. See what you guys are saying over there in the chat. Kind of upgraded my live stream a little bit. Nobody in the chat yet, so we still got a lot to talk about. So I'll give some people some time to get in here and let me know what you guys think. It's also very late, right? I do my live streams extremely late. For those of you who are either early risers or late sleepers, you're right there with me. In the next couple weeks, I'm going to be done working for the year, though, so I should be able to do live streams at different times. That'll be nice to be able to talk to you guys in normal hours. Right? Yes, indeed. All right, so continuing on here, let's talk about the catalyst. Let's talk about the big thing. And we'll probably mention this again if more people come in here because they're going to ask me, what is the catalyst, King of Fomo? So one of the big catalysts is if we go over to Twitter here, and we're going to go to OKX. And this is the biggest catalyst event. The main thing that people have been asking me about Pulse Chain in the comments section, in live chat, anywhere in general is, well, King of Fomo, I didn't do the sacrifice. How do I get into Pulse Chain? How do I get some Pulse? Right? It's really easy for people to move their funds from Ethereum to Pulse using the bridge, right? The bridge is basically unclogged now, so you can move as much funds as you want over to Pulse Chain via the bridge. But there isn't anybody out there who hasn't sacrificed unless they have a connection who's able to get actual Pulse. They can get wrapped Pulse from the bridge, but actual Pulse to be spending gas on is not available to them yet. And that's going to be solved with OKX right here. So OKX just did a listing right here. So 2 hours ago. This is actually brand new right here. So 2 hours ago, Pulse USDT Pulse Chain spot trading is now open. So people are actually able, if you have access to OKX, I'm not sure if this is a United States based exchange. I think this is non-US, but we'll see. If you have an OKX account and you did not do a sacrifice, now you have the option to get over there, get some Pulse, pull it out of the network, and start using the Pulse chain network in general. So this is going to be a big deal for a catalyst and growth event for just the mainstream getting into Pulse chain, right? So that's going to be the first thing. And I think that we can see a lot more new money going in and out of the system with this open, right? I think that a lot of people that, big time whales didn't bridge over their assets because they knew that they weren't going to be able to trade on Pulse chain because they don't have any Pulse tokens. So now they can bridge over more assets. So this is what King of Fomo expects. I expect that the bridge will have a lot more assets go into it over the next week, as everyone now has access to Pulse. Everyone that has access to OKX has access to Pulse now, and we can see a lot more movement, right? So I think that is going to be the first big deal. Now there's going to be some other big deals too. I think that we also have to wait for developers to move over to this chain and start making stuff on Pulse chain. I haven't really been following up too much on what is out there. Obviously it's a brand new chain, so there's not that much out there, but Once we have applications and your basic applications that you see on all of your other EVM chains move over to Pulse, that's even more reason for people to come over here and to mess around with the ecosystem. Because right now, let's be honest, it's just really meme coin trading, maybe hex staking if people are interested in that. Although I don't know too many people who are going to be interested in hex staking over here on Pulse Chain that weren't already interested in hex staking before. And then there's the farming, right? The farms have been really lucrative. Now, this is another topic for another day, but these farms are getting less and less lucrative. You might want to be a little careful if you're jumping into here, because you can see some massive price movements and you're going to miss out on some gains, or you're going to experience some big losses. And these APRs, I think they're going to go down, and it's not going to make up for what you're farming out of there. So just be a little careful with that. And yeah, more of these farms should be open soon as people create pools. So that is a big deal. And then the last catalyst event, well, the last one I want to talk about right now is not only do you have OKX open, but eventually you're also going to have other chains, right? Now, if I'm not mistaken, they have Ethereum. Obviously, you can bridge over Ethereum assets. And I think what I saw on here is you have Binance Smart Chain on here as well. Binance Coin from BSC is here as well. I'm not sure if that's the actual real BSC or how that's bridged over. I gotta look at the bridge and see. Let's see if we can get to the bridge here. I haven't looked at this bridge in a little bit. But having other chains like Polygon and Arbitrum be available for people would be a big deal. See, I'm not sure how people are getting BSC over here, because it looks like the only two networks are Ethereum and Pulse Chain. But eventually the bridge is going to connect things like Polygon so that people from, big whales from those ecosystems can come over here too. So those are some things to look forward to. And I do think that Pulse Chain is far from done. I think that 10x is possible, but I don't think it's going to happen overnight. Let's be real, guys. I mean, when 10x has happened overnight, it's super rare. And that's kind of an event in itself. But I do think that this 2x is very small, right? It's a small number compared to what Pulse Chain can do and kind of what it's been living up to so far. I think that it just has a lot more room to grow, in my opinion. In my personal opinion. Let's see what we got in the chat here. What's up, Francis Gelpers? Welcome. Hello, how you doing? Yo, boss up. How's it going? Pulse is the way. Friday trading on OKX. Yeah, Friday trading. Yeah, it says right here. It says it's open now, right? Pulse USDC. Pulse Chain spot trading is now open. So I think it's open right now. Let's check this out. Let's check this out. Yeah, look, it's been open for 2 hours. Yeah, so people are able to trade on OKX right now. Now again, I don't think this is I think this is exchanges. I don't remember. Does anybody know if OKX is available in the United States? The majority of exchanges are not. But just taking a look here, this is another interesting metric we can take a look at, is how is it doing, right? We've had Dex Screener to look at the trading volume for Pulse and all the coins on Pulse. On Dex Screener, we have about $361 million of trading volume, 179,000 transactions. So on centralized exchanges, you can get crazy amounts of volume much faster. And here we are, we're only, let's look at the hours. I think we're only about 2 or 3 hours in here. And the volume is about 4.71 billion Pulse, which is, I think this is correct. That's about $1.08 million. Let's check these numbers out real quick. 4.07 billion. Whoops. Yeah, so that's about 100 million, or 1 million. Is this billion? This is, yeah, billion. It's about $1 million of trading volume right there. Wow, why is that number so off? Oh, it's because I'm on the wrong die. That's why. Yeah, so just opened with about $1 million of trading volume. We'll see it. Honestly, that's going to be an important point. And I'm not going to be a moon boy for Pulse, right? You get a lot of other people out there that are going to be doing that. Right, we do have to. I am a person that has to see results, right, before you get too excited about things. So it'll be interesting to see over the next day, 24 hours, if this volume, competes with what we're seeing over here on Dex Screener, this $361 million. Will this volume continue to move up? That's going to show us if the general public is interested in Pulse Chain, because all these numbers that we're seeing right here is mainly people who sacrificed, right? People who are already invested in Pulse trading, and maybe some other people. Like there's $100 million to almost $200 million have been bridged over, but even those people, they're probably still initially invested in Pulse or know about it. This is the mainstream, so this includes people who are looking at Pulse, people who are interested in it, people who have never heard of it, people jumping in it. So yeah, this is going to be an interesting thing to really follow. If we just look at this, yeah, so $1 million per hour. We get to 24 hours, and this is being on the safe side. Usually, when things are first announced, not too many people know about this. Also, half the United States is asleep right now. Once people start waking up, and once this word gets out, we could definitely see $24 million in 24 hours. Trading volume, which is already pretty impressive when it comes to comparing with the current volume in PulseX. Accumulate. Yeah, Boss Up says accumulate. I agree, Boss Up. It's, if you believe in the Pulse ecosystem, if you're like me and you think that right now is a cheap price for Pulse, then yeah, this would be a good time to accumulate. Honestly, if this price does go like a lot lower, which it could, right? 2x is still quite a bit. People are going to take profits at 2x, and also I think there's we'll talk about that in a second. There's people that have been arbitraging. I think people have turned bots on for Pulse already. That wasn't here the first couple days, but now you have your robots available on Pulse Chain, and those people have been making a lot of money with the massive volatility of Pulse, going up 16%, going up 24% in a 24-hour period. That's really rare for coins in general, to go up 24%, then go down 24%, then go up 24%, and to have that much volume available for you to actually liquidate, cash out, and take profits. It's uncommon. So I do think... Sorry, let me adjust myself for a second, guys. I think that, yeah, a couple things can happen. We can see some sideways movement for Pulse for sure. I think that meteoric rise that we had the first couple days was nice. But seeing some consolidation is going to be important for Pulse. What happened to my numbers? Oh, they're over here. I don't know what happened. Let me reload this page. Yeah, this is going to be our first... It's going to be our first sort of shakeout for Pulse. The first shakeout. We'll see if people can handle it. Honestly, prepare yourself. Prepare yourself for some massive dumpage. And like my guy said in chat over here, let me see, like Boss Up said, it might be a really, really good time to accumulate. So yeah, we can see some downward movement. And then what I predict, honestly, I don't predict that much downward movement because, like I said, I think that 2x is, it's like nothing. In terms of like the amount of time that we had to wait for that 2x, it really is Pretty much nothing. But I think that more realistically, we'll see some sideways movement for a few days. And that'll be the shakeout when people say, oh, Pulse isn't pumping anymore. Let me get out of here and find something else that's going to pump. And then some meme coin will be out there and people will trade into that meme coin and lose all their money and say, man, I should have stayed in Pulse. A lot of people are also asking me strategies. We can take a look at, while I'm here, let's see if we can look at some comments. Some YouTube comments. Some people are all over the place with comments. These comments are not going to be too much about Pulsechain because I made 3 videos yesterday. Yeah, so this is what I was talking about earlier. Where do you get Pulse coin? You can get it from OKX now. If you have access to OKX, that's the first exchange. And that'll be another catalyst, guys. If this OKX is successful, you have to think about it this way. Think about it the way exchanges think, right? And it's easy to think about how exchanges think because we just saw it happen with Pepe. If Pulsechain gets tons and tons and tons of volume, like substantial amounts of volume over here on OKX, then you're going to have a lot of other exchanges salivating and wanting to add PulseX to their exchange as well. It happened with Pepe. Pepe is a garbage, useless coin, right? It's a coin that shouldn't be listed. It's a crap coin. But Binance listed them. Why did Binance list Pepe before doing any type of due diligence on them whatsoever? Well, they listed it because there was hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars being traded on it. And they wanted those juicy trading fees, right? So that's how exchanges think. Exchanges think like they're a business at the end of the day. They want to make their money, and they make a lot of their money from trading fees. If lots of trading is happening on a coin, they're going to want that coin on their exchange. So if PulseX can pull the numbers over here on OKX, this is going to be a good test. Then you'll see a lot of other exchanges listed a lot faster than if PulseX or if Pulse fails to really achieve those types of volume. Then you won't see it listed as much, and then you'll start to see things move sideways and downward a little bit, and maybe even fail for Pulse altogether. But I mean, let's hope that doesn't happen. But that is in the cards. It's in the playing cards. If things don't work in Pulse's favor, that's probably what you're going to see. But I do think that it's kind of hard to say. I do think that exchanges are going to be more ready to list Pulse compared to Hex. Pulse does still have its problems with its supply distribution, right? And if I was an exchange, I would be a little worried about that. Listing a coin and then having the person with 90% of the tokens put it on the exchange and dump on everyone. But I think it's less of a worry than Hex, so we'll see. We will see. Yeah, this is definitely load up time. Now, here's a question for you guys. What if the price dips even further for all these things? What are you loading up on? Or what are you loading up on right now? Because prices have dipped a lot over the past 24 hours. Are you keeping your Pulse? Are you holding DAI or USDC? Are you exchanging for PulseX? Are you going 50-50 on some of this stuff? How about the incentive token? I know people were bullish on the incentive token for the past day, but I'm going to be real with you guys. I don't think the incentive token is the way to go. I think that it was a nice little, happy little bonus surprise for this first couple of days of Pulse's launch. But people have told me why incentive token is going to keep going up, but I just don't buy it. I don't think that incentive token will do well in the long term for holding at all. Even with its it has like halving like Bitcoin and a few other things. I think that based on my experience of seeing farming coins, different types of farming coins that work different ways, where they reduce emissions, they all usually end the same way, where they become less and less valuable over time. So I wouldn't hold the incentive token. I'm not saying that farming's not worth it anymore. I wouldn't hold it. I wouldn't hold that thing. No, thank you. Let's see. Deliana and Adamson. Let me read this. Amandason. Deliana Amandason. Sorry, I trying to get pronounced names correctly. Many projects are coming to Pulse Chain, just as I told you last week. Transactions are cheap on Pulse, and the chain has massive followers. Marketing on the way, and Richard Hart ecosystem will do well. I do think that Pulse Chain definitely has that going for it. I think that Pulse Chain has a lot more upside potential than downward potential. And I'm going to be honest with you, I wouldn't say this. If Pulse went 10x, I'd say, guys, it's time to sell. It's time to wait for things to cool off a little bit. But I don't think that we've reached the top of Pulse at all, right? I think that even if we have a dip, I'm like, that's going to be a juicy dip. And personally, I want to move my funds from Polygon to Pulse Chain. That's what I want to do. Bro, that spot trading goes live Friday. Why does it look live right now? It looks like it's live right now. And it says Pulse USDG spot trading is now open right here on Twitter. So what am I missing? Yeah, some people are like upset. No announcement. It happened so fast. I'm pretty sure this is live right now. Yeah, the trades are happening. You can trade it now if you have access to OKX. Yeah, but this is like new, right? This is news from 2 hours ago. So maybe what you read was older than that. But as far as I can see, you can spot trade this Pulse right now on OKX. Which, to me, that's a good thing, right? That's a good thing. We can get on board more people more quickly. Yes, indeed. I'm going to tell you guys, I made a really stupid decision earlier. This morning, about 24 hours ago, I sold all of my Pulse for DAI. Because I was, like I said, I told you guys I was predicting, like, once we get to that 95% bridge area, I'm going to really change my position. So I changed my position. It was after this big dump right here, and I sold it about maybe 2.2, right? 0.0022. And then it started moving up again. King of Fomo's luck right there. As soon as I sold, it started moving back up. And I was like, man, I should have just waited. I didn't actually look at the price. I didn't look at the chart because I was busy working. And I was like, man, I know that it's down. I don't have time to look at the chart. Let me sell now, and then hopefully it'll go down a little bit more, and I can buy back in. That was my plan. But I didn't look at the chart, and I sold at the bottom. But if I was being smart, I probably would have waited a little bit longer, or offloaded a little bit, sold somewhere closer to here, and then tried to buy back in like right now. So who knows, if we go back up to like 26, I might do the same thing and try to do some swing trading with Pulse, because this is the time to sort of do swing trading at the beginning of these coins, when you have those 20% ups and downs within 24 hours. And I think overall, I don't know, like, it was like the Goldilocks period today, and maybe tomorrow, and maybe the next day, as to where I don't foresee things pumping an extreme amount in these next 3 or 4 days, but I don't see things dumping an extreme amount either in these next 3 or 4 days. So I think that these are fantastic days to do trading, swing trading, if you're into that stuff. If you don't know how to do that, then I wouldn't do that. I would just stick to your guns. Maybe keep farming. Because those farming rewards, they're still really good, right? You can still get quite a bit from here. I haven't decided what I'm going to do. Honestly, I should make up my mind real quick before I go to sleep here. As far as, am I going to go back to farming, right? Because I really do want to go back to farming. But at the same time, if we do recover, this is what I'm probably going to do. So you guys probably don't care, but this is what I'm probably going to do. I'm probably going to try to time it, right? I'm going to time the market again, and I'm going to see if I can sell back up here at maybe 26, 0.0026. I'm going to sell most of my Pulse, wait for another dip, buy back in, and then I would farm from there. That's my plan. That's my hope. Otherwise, if it just keeps dipping down, I'm going to hold my Pulse until it goes to zero. No, I'm going to hold my Pulse until for quite a bit, because the situation I didn't want to be in today, and I'm glad it did dip back down to like me to buy back in. I did buy at a little bit of a profit, right? You know, I sold pretty low, but I bought back in a little bit lower. So I didn't lose any money or lose any Pulse from doing that. But my overarching plan is to start running Pulse chain validators, which my parts came in early, right? I got both of my validator parts today. I expected to get them like next week. Now the downside is I'm missing like the memory for the machine, and that's not going to come until the 30th, so I have to wait even longer. I should have ordered it from Amazon because it would have been here like tomorrow, but I didn't, so I need to wait until the 30th to build my machine, and then it should be active and validating by June 1st, June 2nd. So that's my personal next goal with Pulse. Obviously, that's probably not most of your guys' goals, because it costs a lot of Pulse to do that, and it costs a lot of money to get the machine. But you can look forward to me doing something like that and showing you guys my experience. Let's take a look and see a little bit more here. What's going on with the trades? Looks like we got a lot of reds. Look at these. So this is why I had range by over $10,000 sells, because it's easier to kind of take a look at everything. And we're seeing lots and lots of red. Look at all this red. Red. Lots of sells at $20,000. People losing faith. You can also look over here in Dex Tools, or Dex Screeners. If you guys are unfamiliar with this website, I'm showing you guys how it works. And you can see like the 5-minute chart. The buy volume is 30K, right? So somebody did a big buy that offset all these sells. I'm not sure where that is. And the for 1 hour, you have a higher sell volume, 891K. For 6 hours, you have a higher sell volume, $4 million to $3.5 million. That's quite a bit. And $13 million to $12.3 million. So more sell volume today than we have with buy volume, which is why we're down a little bit. But from what I'm seeing, the sell volume is coming only from a couple different accounts. Like you can see right here, all these red right here is like one guy. This is this guy right here. This is D31CD guy. So this guy currently has about 2 million Pulse left. So this guy offloaded everything, right? This guy sold everything. How much is 2 million Pulse worth? 2 million. Yeah, this guy only has about $400 left. So this guy made the same mistake that I made. He sold at the dip. Sell low, buy high. That was this guy's strategy right here. Yeah, but if you're trying to sell, you don't want to sell at the end of these red candles. I mean, come on. Unless you're really expecting it to dump hard. Let's take a look at the chat. Bro, don't swing trade. Boss Up says don't swing trade. I'm gonna do it, man. if it does what I think it's gonna do, I'm gonna do it. Because my thing is, like, I really don't foresee massive pumps right now, because the bridge is filled up. The only way we can get massive pumps is if we have like a ton more funds go in the bridge, and if that happens, I will be prepared. Like I'm looking at this chart frequently. I'm gonna be prepared to buy back in if we get like a huge amount of funds bridged over. But I don't foresee like a 5x growth in a couple hours. Like I think I'll have time to FOMO buy back in if I swing trade the wrong way. We'll see. Weak hands are getting shook out. Yeah, this is the moment. This is the moment for weak hands to get shook out. And you know, I gotta understand. I'm not selling to like take profit. That I think that would be like a weak-handedness. I'm selling with every intention to buy back in. And if it means I lose a little bit of pulse along the way, then so be it. But I will certainly be buying back in. Be careful, there might be some big buys at any moment. We'll see. You think the opposite of me. You pulled everything out of the farms. Yeah, the farms. Honestly, if, for people that farm in the past like 48 hours, they're on top, right? They're the winners, right? Because we haven't really moved too much, right? And if you're just holding pulse, you're not making any money. But people who farm for like 24 hours, you might make like $500 or something like that. If you really are a Richard Hart follower, you wouldn't be trading just saying by the dips. Well, I'm not a Richard Hart follower. I'm sort of I'm a breath of fresh air when it comes to Pulsechains and hexagons. I wouldn't align myself in that group, but I do like what Pulsechain is doing right now. I'm not gonna knock those people too much, but yeah, I'm not gonna say that I'm not gonna do everything Richard Hart does, because I mean Richard Hart has been wrong in the past. He's talked about Hex extremely positively when Hex dumped hardcore. So sometimes he's right, but sometimes he's really wrong. So there's a bunch of people fumbling their bags right now. Yeah, I mean, you can look at these cells. These cells are pretty crazy. I like looking at some of the buys and sells where it's like $100,000. Like this guy right here. What's this guy doing? This guy sold a billion pulse for $225,000 about an hour ago. And let's see how much he has left. He has 8,000 pulse left. This guy unloaded everything. But I'm pretty sure this was the same guy that started the whole dump, right? This guy probably sold like around here. So we'll see. I do like looking on the sidelines to see kind of where people end up. Like if we rock it back up, that guy's gonna be like a little upset. He sold so much, so low. Also, right now it seems like we're not getting that much volume. I feel like we had more volume earlier in the day. We're having a slow point right now. Pulse X or Pulse, higher gains in the short term. It really depends. It depends on what you think. I don't like to answer that question because people don't like my answers. Personally, I would just stick with Pulse, but I'm also biased because I need the Pulse to run validators, so that's why I'm not really messing with Pulse X that much. But Pulse X, people are talking about the buy and burn is going to make it pump a lot. I think that Pulse X is just going to be more volatile overall, right? So Pulse X, you're probably going to get way bigger gains with Pulse X, but you're also probably going to be at risk for way bigger losses with Pulse X too. So depends on your risk management strategy. Right now, Pulse X is down 24%, so it's probably a better buy if you're looking to do a swing trade like King of Fomo here. Pulse X would be the good swing trade option. I wouldn't swing trade incentive, but you know everyone's been wrong about incentive over the past couple days, so maybe that's the play right there. Get some incentive right now, sell it for like $100. I don't know about that. Jimbo Jones. That was probably Trevon. I haven't really been following him, what he's been talking about for Pulsechain. I haven't looked at his videos. Usually I see what he talks about in Twitter. LOL. It's 6 a.m. in the US. We're not even up yet. You'd be surprised. You're here. I'm here. I'm in the US. Sold my Pulse. Shadow trade. You sold your Pulse. What do you want to tell us? At what price did you sell your Pulse? Are you currently at a gain right now, or if you buy back in, would you have less Pulse? Because I sold my Pulse too. I just bought back in. Sorry, I didn't highlight that chat. All right. Jammin' Ferrugia. Good enough. Crypto's my retirement. Sold 2. Waiting to buy the dip. Yeah. Man, I would probably be in your shoes too if I was smart. I probably would still have my Pulse sold right now, to be honest with you guys. If I had sold up here, right, when I sort of planned to. Because yesterday, or 2 days ago, I did actually sell half of my Pulse stack, pretty much at the top, at about 27. And that's when I started farming, so I guess it doesn't really count as being sold if you're farming, because you're tied 50-50. Then it went down, and then I sold the rest of my stack at the bottom here. And then it went up, and I was like, man, I should have sold everything up here. And then if I did sell up here, I would be waiting for a little bit more of a dip, right? Because I mean, you got to zoom out here. We had a massive pump from the jump, right? Everyone is in 2x profit. And I do think that if we move sideways for too long and we don't get a lot of volume or hype or interest, you're going to have some people who are antsy, right? Some people who are like, I have 2x. Should I take that 2x and run and just wait? And a lot of people are going to be thinking the same thing. Let me take that 2x and buy back in at a lower price. All these people right here. And then they'll take their 2x and then the price will dump a lot. And maybe they'll buy back in, right? Maybe they'll buy back in and get more profit out of it. Or maybe they'll just miss it and it'll rocket back up. So yeah, there's definitely some potential for us to drop down a lot lower, like maybe down to like 15. So be prepared for that. Make up your mind right now if you want to sell and wait for a dip, or potentially diamond handed out. Is Zen dead? I don't think so. I haven't talked about Zen in a while because, I mean, Pulsechain is the hype right now. I also haven't messed with Zen in a long time, just because gas fees are stupid on Ethereum. Honestly, I've been waiting for gas fees to go down below ultrasound. Who knows if that's going to happen, but I'm not minting any more Zen unless these gas fees go down. I'm going to be patient with Zen. Zen down 6.8%. And it's doing okay. Zen's fine. It looks like it's dying, but it's fine. And then you also have to keep in mind, something to follow for Zen. Once they launch their chain, that's going to be a really interesting one. Their X1 chain. Because, I mean, imagine it. You have you have the rivalry, right? You have Pulse versus Zen. You have Hex versus Zen. That's there, right? And when you have X1 chain launch, if it's similar to Pulse in any sort of way, I think there's going to be some equal amount of volatility and hype once X1 chain does launch. So I'm looking forward to that. I need to learn more about X1 and how that's going to work. X1's very confusing to me, and that's saying a lot because Pulse was also very confusing to me. X1 is even more confusing to me about how they're going to do it. But I also don't think they had that much information out there on it. So I'm sitting on the sidelines for Zen until gas fees goes down. Jimbo Jones, cheers. Shadow trade. Yesterday you sacrificed ETH. You got Pulse sold because you needed funding for your trading account. Hey, no harm, no foul. If you gotta sell, you gotta sell. Nothing wrong with taking profits. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Yeah, but this was like the local low for the past couple days. This 222 level. This was approximately where I did my sells around here. It was a little higher, but if we go lower than this, that's when you're gonna start to see the panic set in, and that'll be an interesting time. That'll be the next big catalyst event, the panicking. How much will everyone panic? Will you panic? What will the panic be? So yeah. Where do you think we're gonna go? Honestly, the King of Fomo thinks we're gonna go sideways from here. We'll see. Let's take a look at some other stuff. I do want to kind of sign off a little early here. I have some work to do before I work in about 4 hours. Before I go to sleep. Other interesting topics. Wrapped BTC. For some reason that pumped today. I don't know why. For some reason that has a ton of volume, 1,207 trades. Wrapped BTC. That's Pulse wrapped BTC. That's not wrapped BTC from Ethereum. That's your wrapped BTC that got copied from Ethereum. For some reason that has a value of $306. Like, why? Anybody know why? that was kind of the interesting topic of the day. It's got a ton of liquidity too. $1.1 million for wrapped BTC. I don't know. I don't follow Pulsechain enough to really know the ins and outs of what's going on. Maybe somebody's doing something with wrapped BTC. Pulse Bitcoin, also $80,000 of liquidity. I don't know. This is interesting. Looking at some of these newer coins with liquidity here. Wrapped BTC, Hedron, Pulse Pad. This is going to be a launch pad, I guess. This has quite a bit of liquidity here too. Let's see if this is an actual website. Pulsepad.io. Oh yeah, I think I've seen this before. This is not super new. Right, these guys were talking about launching Pulsepad before Pulse. Pulsepad. I'm not going to read into it too much. It's probably just like a launch pad. I'm not too hyped about pads on exchanges, but hey, maybe it's something to look at. It is nice to see, hopefully, over the next couple days, that we don't have a ghost chain, right? We have a chain with lots of different activity going on. It's not just a chain where you have cheap gas fees and nothing else. Right, that'll be nice to see, and that's what brings the real volume, right? That's what brings the real volume. Right now, we just have the pulse chain people, the hexagons, but to get the outside volume, you need activity. You need stuff to do on the chain. Zen Bitcoin. I don't know what the heck that is. What's Zen Bitcoin? Pulse Ohm. Is this like Ohm on Ethereum, but on Pulse? Didn't Ohm fail? Like big time. This one has a little logo. Acreage. So you got a lot of these coins. I'm sure these coins have telegrams and groups and stuff. And they're not just meme coins if they have this much liquidity, but maybe something worth looking into for these coins. Hedron, we know a little bit about Hedron already. Wildfire. Wildfire is paired with wrapped Bitcoin. Is this wrapped Bitcoin from Ethereum? Maybe this is why wrapped Bitcoin was pumping, because of this wildfire thing. I gotta look this up. What's up, Bumbleclot? What's up, King Fomo? It feels like I just jumped in Pulse the right as it slowed down. Yeah, I mean, it's okay. It'll speed back up. This is the interesting times, right? This is the make it or break it time, Bumbleclot. So this is the time that we're going to see Pulsechain succeed greatly or start to fail forever, right? And I mentioned this the other day. I said once this bridge fills up, that's the interesting time, and it's filled up now, right? So now that we have most of the funds on here that are going to be on here, what's going to happen next? People can't really predict, because before we sort of could predict that the prices were going to go up because funds were being bridged over, right? People saw massive rewards with incentive token. Most people were getting liquidity farming, right? So most people were buying the tokens to liquidity farm. So that's like guaranteed upward movement. Now we don't have that anymore. We don't have a guaranteed upward movement. So now it's going to be interesting. If we have more upward movement, that's solid. That's like solid growth as opposed to this sort of artificial growth that we had the past couple days. So these are the exciting times for Pulse, the make it or break it moment. Sacrificed 2 ETH in 2020. Yeah, I sacrificed like 10 ETH in 2021. Forgot about Pulsechain, and a lot of people have I have 2 people. So there's 2 people that from 2020 that did the Hex, not sacrifice, the Hex adoption amplifier. And because I have like my list of referrals, and I have 2 people on my list of referrals that have like $500 and like $1,000. They never claimed their Hex. They never claimed it. I have their addresses. They didn't press the claim button, so they're missing $1,000 and $500 of Hex. And at their peaks, man, they lost a lot of money. They lost like that's like $10,000 and like $50,000 or $5,000 that these guys just didn't claim because they forgot about it. They completely forgot about it. Sorry, I didn't highlight your little chat there. You thought it's a scam running in a larger scale. Hey man, a lot of people thought it was a scam. Honestly, this is the reason why I never covered Pulse, was because like it took them forever to launch it. So like I didn't bother caring or talking about it until they actually put it out there. So I'm glad that they did launch it, right? I was right there with you. I was like, man, if my ETH is gone, my ETH is gone. I really do hope they put it out. And they did, right? Everyone's made whole. I'm not going to say, like, some people are like, thank goodness he put it out. Like, I'm not going to say that. Like, this is, like, expected. Like, you should have done this, right? I'm not going to give you praise for doing something that you should have done. King Fomo, do you have any wins on Pulse coins or just sacrifice and incentive? Yeah, really it's just sacrifice and incentive. I'm up a little bit from what I put in. I would be up more if I didn't go into farming, if I'm honest with you guys. If I didn't go into farming and I sold at the top, I would be up more, but so would everybody. But I'm up a little bit from the incentive farming. And I said in the beginning of this video, I think 2x is like nothing. 2x is really nothing when it comes to what Pulse Chain can do. I think once we get to like 5x or maybe 6x, that's when I'm going to think about doing some like massive profit taking for Pulse. But until then, like, we haven't seen any growth at all yet for Pulse. This 2x is like, you understand, like, people sacrificed 2 years ago, over 2 years ago, and the price of crypto has moved up quite a bit in the past 2 years. Actually, not really, because the Ethereum was like the same price it was 2 years ago, but nonetheless, a lot of other coins have gone up quite a bit in the past 2 years. So if we would have not sacrificed our coins in general, like overall, we'd be up about 2x with our original coin that we put in. If you put in Polygon or if you put in BNB, if you put in Ethereum, you'd probably have the same amount. But this is why, like, I'm not FOMO selling my 2x. Like, wow, look at my profits, 2x, yippee! Because, like, man, this 2x is nothing in the span of 2 years in crypto. I mean, come on. Once you get to 5x or 10x, then I'm going to say, oh, and then we finally made a nice profit in Pulse Chain. So that's my thoughts on that. Alright, I'm going to be on here for like 5 more minutes and then I'm going to dip out here, guys. Got a lot of chats to catch up on. Price did dip. Price did good. Price did dip good. You bought, price was all-time high, right? Right after you did buy, price started to go down. Yeah, I mean, that's how it works. I was just talking about earlier how I sold at, not all-time low, but I sold at the local low of the couple days. What's up, Gerald Draper? Buy the rumor, sell the news. You'll buy back in at the 0.0019 range, or 9 range. Yeah, I think that's probably a good strategy. Yeah. And then, if you have to buy back in, if it doesn't dip down that low, I don't think you're going to miss out on too much if it doesn't reach that price range and it actually starts going up. I don't think that you're going to be like, man, I screwed up. I don't think anybody's going to be saying that. I don't think it's going to go 10xing too fast. So, yeah, waiting for a dip price of that amount right here seems like a good, smart thing to do. I don't think random coins are pumping for no reason. We'll invite people to Pulse Chain. Yeah, well, I mean... yeah, a lot of random coins on like Binance Smart Chain pump for no reason, and people go to the BSC, like the Binance Smart Chain Casino, and some people are saying Pulse Chain's the new Binance Smart Chain Casino. I hope that it's not. I hope that it's more than that. I mean, yeah, you can do your trades on your little fun coins for that, but I hope that there's more than that. We'll trade from your silver for crypto soon. Nice. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see, man. You might want to keep that silver for a little longer. Post your addresses. Post addresses. LOL could be us. Alright. Jimbo says TrustSwap seems to be the only decent project launched on Pulse so far. Hopefully it can get some real adoption other than these low-tier hexagon projects. Yeah, I mean, this is my thought process. I think back to like other chains that launched. Like you have, like I was there for most of these chains launch. I was there for the Polygon. I was there for Optimism. I was there for Arbitrum. And it's slow, right? Things are slow for the first couple months, even like half a year. Things are slow in terms of development. So it takes time, but eventually Polygon has its whole NFT ecosystem that was built on it. Arbitrum has a lot of stuff on it now. Binance Smart Chain grew. Well, Binance Smart Chain grew pretty fast, but it was one of the first ones. But yeah, this stuff takes time. So I do think that Pulsechain has the potential to get a lot of cool projects on it. But I'm also going to be patient, right? I'm going to wait a little bit of time before I make up my mind and say Pulsechain is a ghost chain. Nothing is being developed on there. I'm not going to say that for a little bit, right? I'm going to give it some time to grow. But that is also a possibility, right? We've seen a lot of these chains out here become ghost chains because nobody builds anything on it, right? Can you explain to me why you think Pulse could 4x to 100 billion market cap? I think I might save that for another video because I have to really get the numbers in for that. But the main thing to think about when you're thinking about that is don't look at this number. This is not a real number. So just like with Hex, I mean Hex got to like a stupid crazy high market cap too. If you looked at its quote unquote market cap, it was right below like Ethereum for a little bit. But to me, this is like a fake market cap number because you have a lot of coins that are in the hands of like one person, like 80% of the supply is in the hands of one person. So you take that chunk out and then you calculate the market cap, right? So that's my way of looking at this. I don't think I'm not looking at Pulse as a $30 billion market cap coin. That's just not what it is. And same with like a lot of these other ones. They're not. Well, maybe these are more accurate, but Pulse is not 30 billion. That's why I think it can 4x from here. And you gotta really, I mean, you really gotta think about it. So that's why I have to make a dedicated video to really break it down to make it make sense. But yeah, think back to the price that people sacrificed at. Like if I sacrificed, let me reload this. This is not the wallet I want. That's not the wallet I want either. This is the wallet I want. If I sacrificed 10 ETH back here on July 15th, 2021, it's I don't know. Okay, let me not do that right now. Let's talk about that another time. I don't want to stumble through it. I want to make sure I give you guys a good overview of my market cap and price prediction for Pulse. So that'll be a whole separate video. That probably won't be a live stream video. But yeah, in basic terms, it has a lot of room to grow. I mean, one of the ways that you can look at it is this. Let's look at the price of Pulse right now. Let's look at Pulse X DAI. Okay, so do some number crunching here, guys. This is kind of how I start doing my videos anyway. The volume for Pulse is about $30 million, right? So it's going to be put around right here. You get coins like Pax Dollar, Aave, VeChain, Axie Infinity, Algorand, Uniswap, Lido. So it's about $30 million from Pulse, right? That's the volume. Where's the volume at? Yeah, that's the volume from the past day for Pulse. And none of these coins right here, none of these coins have a $30 billion market cap, right? And 30 is 30 billion. 30 billion is like a ridiculous number. 30 billion would put it right under BNB, right? So it's things like that. You got to really just like do some number crunching yourself to understand, like, does this market cap really make sense for the coin? If it doesn't, then you have to understand why. Why does this market cap not make sense? And it has to do with the supply being distributed amongst other people. I'll leave it at that. Exciting times indeed. Next week we will know more as 81 nations representatives will come together to discuss fiat and CBDC FUD. Yeah, that's some interesting political stuff with fiat, CBDC, what the SEC is doing with crypto. Please can you name the farms I'm in? Well, right now I'm not in any farms. Pseudo Geek, I took my funds out of the farms, but if I do decide to jump into a farm later after I'm done making this video, I usually stick with, I've been sticking with this one, this DAI from Ethereum liquidity pool. But the other thing to note is these APRs for these farms are going down, so it's getting less and less lucrative. You know, the first couple days, like it was an easy decision to go into farm. Now it's a little bit of a harder decision, because not only are you getting less APR, if the coin moves, if either coin moves a little bit, right, and Pulse is very volatile, so it's moving a little bit a lot of times. It might be less lucrative to get into these farms when they have low APRs. So if these numbers keep dipping, the more they dip, the more you have to really think about, do I really want to farm this incentive token, or do I just want to hold my Pulse or Pulsex or Hex? But yeah, I've been doing the DAI farm. That's just the one I'm in. It looks like the USDT farm's a good one, right? Right here. Well, 1,000 APR, 1000% APR still. Let's see. All right, I'll read a couple more comments, then I'm going to sign off here. See you guys tomorrow. Thanks for that. I was wondering how its 30 billion was backed up by 50% with only 150 million deposited. Yeah, the numbers are really weird, and it's the same case with Hex. Hex had some really weird numbers with its market cap too, which is why it was never officially listed on any of the like big time coin market cap websites or CoinGecko's. That's my worry with Pulse. I think Pulse is gonna have the same issue as far as it being listed on CoinGecko. But I have to break that down in a separate video. I have to really look at where that all is at. Pseudo Geek says I'm in the DAI Pulse liquidity pool. Yeah, that's the one that's the only one I've been in. Pseudo Geek. Cheers. Adremadus. Alright, so that's everything for today, guys. I'm going to sign off here. I'm going to do some work, non-Pulse chain related. Keep an eye on this number. We'll see. Hopefully, let's see tomorrow. You guys think this number's going to be higher? You think this number's going to be in the ones? I think it's going to be in the ones. I think we're going to dip down a little bit lower, right? I don't think this OKX news is going to be enough to push it to new heights. But yeah, if I were you, I would be kind of bookmarking and following these two pages to kind of see where Pulse Chain is how Pulse Chain is moving. 0.000224, and that's the number I'm going to be looking at a lot. And I'm also going to be looking at the 24-hour turnover for the exchange, the centralized exchange, and see how that's working. Yeah, but I'm certain there's going to be a lot of other news. Sorry, this is not going to be the only two things to talk about for Pulse Chain. And even this week, I think there's a lot of other stuff that's going to be announced and launched this week for Pulse Chain to be excited about. So, but another thing, guys, is you're probably going to see a lot of people FUD Pulse. And the reason why is because it had insane growth the first couple days, and that insane growth is going to sort of disappear for a little bit, and then people are going to say, it looks like Pulse is dying, even though it's not dying. It just lost its insane growth, and now it has normal growth. So those are some things to think about before you fall for people's FUD. All right, guys, I'll catch you in the next video. Like, comment, subscribe. If you're not a Patreon member, considering becoming Patreon to get access to all of my videos, except obviously live streams earlier than everyone else. And we didn't talk about ordinals in this video at all. Man, I didn't get to look at ordinals. Well, we'll talk about it another time, and hopefully we'll see if I get it done tomorrow. I think I'm going to be pretty busy. I'm going to do my analysis of the market cap and my price prediction for Pulse soon here too. Alright, guys. Pulse OKX listing is live. Yeah, I mentioned that a little bit earlier. Catch you next time, Bumbleclot. Link to Pulse Burn is right here. Pulseburn.com. You can see the website right here. The tippity top. Just type that in your browser. Pulseburn.com. PLS burn. Alright. Bye bye, guys.